What is going on, Rivian fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to give you a good overview of what happened with Rivian today. Why did it dip first thing, what the data points are saying, and what just came out from a analyst. So I'm going to go over all that. Make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So we are in power hour right now, and Rivian is not disappointing. So it's making up a lot of room right now. So this dip is getting bought up. It is kind of flat right now. So we'll see if it does turn green, if it has enough momentum. There is a little bit lower volume, so 34.82 million shares being traded, 57 is the average. And looking right here, these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market. So as far as the frequency is definitely very much there, and looking at the bid and the ask, majority of these are all biased. So big money definitely started out very strong. They kind of tapered off a little bit. But as far as dark pool transactions, this was very, very popular. And unfortunately, when it comes down to dark pool, some people don't necessarily like it. And actually, I'm still going. So there's been a ton of transactions on the dark pool. But when it comes down to this, a lot of people don't like it because it is linked to shorting. So I'll give you guys a quick overview of what I mean by that and what they're doing. But when it comes down to the volatility that happened first thing, there was two pieces of news essentially. So one of which was this. So Ford restarts electric pickup truck factory after retooling to increase output. So of course, this does signal that there is going to be a little bit more competition, which I think was kind of common knowledge, but based on the Q1 earnings, they were very confident that there's a huge amount of demand for their vehicles. So hopefully on the 8th, so August 8th, that is when their Q2 earnings is, they'll be able to kind of reiterate that confidence that really rallied a lot of investors. But right before their Q2 earnings, it does look like Cantor Fitzgerald, so Andre Shepard, who is an analyst, did give a $29 target, which unfortunately isn't necessarily the best because keep in mind that is a plan for the next 12 months. So clearly not much is anticipated over that time period. But when it comes down to analysts, I think a lot of people need to start looking at their ratings because Andre Shepard does only have a 26% success rating and has an average return of negative 22%. So I don't think anyone should be really listening to this individual, but of course, that's just my own opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, so you guys always do your own due diligence. But one thing to note as well, while I'm still on Interactive Brokers, it does look like an analyst recently jumped on board. It looks like from the 19th to the 26th of July, one analyst jumped on board and kind of reiterated the negative $1.41 for the earnings per share for this upcoming Q2 earnings. And for revenue, it looks like a little bit more bullishness. So one analyst once again jumped on board. It went from 945.55 million to 978.75 million as far as the consensus for revenue. So definitely an analyst is very optimistic. So you kind of get that at the same time as you get a negative Andre Shepard, so a negative rating from Cantor Fitzgerald. So let me know your thoughts on that. On a side note, if you're looking for a lot of good compiled information such as this, click on the link in the description below because this is all completely free to have for analyst ratings and stuff like that. But like I said, when it comes down to dark pool, it is very much linked to shorting. So I'll give you guys a good overview of what is happening with that. So short score is currently 62. Utilization is 32.45%. And right now, shorts are returning 335,000 shares. 13.91% of the free float is being shorted, which given what Rivian is offering to the market, I do feel that's fairly high. So hopefully they do have a very good earnings, Q2 earnings, and that'll cause shorts to leave on their own accord because 85.31 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow is complete pennies, so 0.73%, so very, very low. One thing to note though, cost to borrow minimum is actually negative. So there is a broker out there physically paying someone negative, or I guess paying them 0.2% to short Rivian. So a little bit more of a manipulation behind the scenes in that regard. As far as options activity, today is just very, very bullish. So like I said, during power hour, it is getting bought up very fast and a lot of people are doing options as well. So $30 million in calls are being purchased today, 5.25 million in puts. So overall, 86% of all the options activity is bullish. Looking right here, if you are once again bullish, this is only for calls. Looking at the strike prices, expiry dates, it is anticipated to go for this week between the $27 to $28 range, and as far as the 11th, which will incorporate their earnings, it's all over the place. So anywhere from, it looks like 27 to potentially as high as $30 might come because of their earnings. And a couple of things as well I like to look at. Oddly enough, number of retail investors aren't necessarily getting in today, so maybe they're taking profit. I'm not really sure. Maybe some negative thoughts about their upcoming earnings. Stochastic is currently at 78. There is a nice bullish sentiment behind the scenes, so of course that's a fairly good sign. And looking right here, with it being at $27.39, just wanted to break it down for you as far as where it might be going. So looking at the fib levels with it, like I said, 27.39, it is currently between the P and the R1, which in comparison to a lot of other growth stocks is kind of in line with. So 24.50 is that next big support. 28.42 is that next big resistance. So as you can tell, the spread is very, very big on those. So this is where most likely you're going to get a lot more of these very vicious swings, which will be very good for kind of swing traders and stuff like that. But I do feel because of their earnings, it might actually be able to push above this 28.42 and potentially get to around this $30 range based on the options. But when it comes down to options, like I've said in the past, it is just merely a sentiment. It does not move the stock price. Even if someone bought $100 million in calls, it doesn't move it 1 cent. So just be aware of that. And one final thing I just wanted to share with you, it is that time of season, so the latest round of 13Fs. A lot of the big players are going to be unveiling their 13Fs, so their disclosures to the SEC, most likely the first to potentially the second week of August. So this is where a lot of the big players such as Vanguard, BlackRock will be letting us know what they did with Rivian during Q2. So looking right here, it is kind of mixed. So you kind of get it all over the place. So this one, this trust did increase their position by 52 or 53%. Some reduced their position, but generally, like I said, it's kind of all over the place. It looks like some ETFs did increase their position at a pretty substantial amount, but still, like I said, nothing really stands out to me in my own opinion. So I think in reality, we'll just have to wait and see exactly what BlackRock and Vanguard do with Rivian. But once again, let me know your viewpoint on Rivian. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, selling, holding, what you've been doing with Rivian over the last little bit. And what is your take on, for instance, the upcoming earnings? Do you think it is optimistic? Do you think it's bearish? What's your kind of viewpoint on all of that? If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing, take advantage of this promo. I've been sharing this with you because this legitimately is an amazing deal. It is a free deal. All you have to do, sign up for a free account, which does give you $0 commission, free level 2 trading. Throw $100 at it, you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000, plus you get a $50 cash reward. So this legitimately is one of the best deals that you can get. Link in the description below and also the comments. With that said, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Rivian.